Okay, so I'm Hazel. My pronouns are she, her. Um, I am predominantly a music teacher, but I have been retraining this year to be a voice feminization coach. I'm eventually looking to branch out into trans voice in general, because I want to be able to help trans mass people. But obviously, it's a bit easier for me to approach it from the side of what I've applied to myself. I've been doing this for about a year now. I progressed fairly quickly, managed to get my own voice somewhere where it was mostly passing within about 3 to 4 months, and reached out to either, well, voice teachers to get some support, and basically had people turn around and say, you would be better off just learning to teach. So that's what I went to do.
And so, how was that journey for you going from teaching music to working with your own voice and helping other people with their voices? I imagine that helped you a lot.
Yeah, it's been quite an emotional one because it's going from a situation when I came out where I was worried I would never sing again. I was worried that I wouldn't be able to teach because I wouldn't be able to address a classroom without being dysphoric. And when I came out, I joked the NHS is so slow that by the time I see a voice feminization coach, I'll already be teaching. That turned out to be true. Um, I found it's helped me understand myself a lot better because my voice dysphoria was the worst thing when I came out. And sort of conquering that demon has helped me get more perspective on what actually bothers me about my transition. Um, yeah, it's been life changing. It's made things a lot better.
Amazing. And what you were saying some interesting things before. What are some common blocks that you find come up with people when they first start working with their voice with the kind of work that you're sharing?
So the biggest one by far is fear. A lot of people come into this and they get really intimidated looking at the process sort of from the bottom. And it feels like this big overwhelming task where there's so many like complicated things to understand, there's so many like muscles to exercise. In the beginning you don't even know what parts of your voice you're supposed to be feeling. But I find when you break things down intellectually and you look at the voice as an instrument, it becomes interesting. And when it becomes interesting, it's a lot easier to come out of a bad experience where you've not had your voice working the way you want it to with something new that you're now in control of. Another barrier that I particularly specialize in as a singer is your voice works differently in different environments. If you're outside, you're going to be hearing it reverberating differently because you're hearing yourself differently. That will subconsciously change the way that you're projecting your way you're speaking, or even just speaking to different people, like code switching. Basically, when you speak to different people from different social groups, you might adopt different mannerisms to communicate better, and you need to learn to feminize all of that or masculinize if that's the route you're going. So, yeah, I think everything comes down to practice and finding healthy coping mechanisms and lessons in both the good and the bad experiences, and just playing with it in as many different settings as possible. Because the more places that you've played with it casually, the better prepared you are for everyday life.
Brilliant. And so you're running a workshop for us soon. Could you just tell us a little bit about your workshop?
Yeah, so the workshop that I have planned is dealing with that second issue actually. So a lot of people, when they start getting some progress in their transition, will usually find that they sound quite good in a practice environment. Usually the shower for some reason. I guess people just feel comfy there and the acoustics are nice. But then they'll take it out into the real world and it will start to fall apart a bit. Stress will get in the way, nerves will get in the way. I'm going to focus on breaking down why it's important to practice your voice in different settings and some ways. Well, I'll give some ways for how to prepare for different settings at home but also cover some like critical thinking so you can build those methods yourself because I can't foresee every possible situation you might be using your voice for. It's more helpful to give you the tools to work out that training yourself. I will also be touching briefly on what I call like high pressure voice work, which is the process of building your like vocal tract strength so you can stand up to things like shouting to address a room and to sing.
Brilliant. And so obviously you're specializing in trans voices. And are there any transferable aspects of this that people who maybe are non-binary or cis might benefit from this?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, to begin with, you don't transition your voice because you're trans. You transition your voice because you want to sound like you. That's something that anyone might benefit from. Like, you might be happy with your voice as it naturally falls, but it might not hurt to maybe find you like it a bit lighter, you like it a bit higher, you like it a bit heavier, etc. There's something everyone can take out of it, and even if it doesn't become something you use every day, just understanding your voice better gives you more options. Like, if you like singing, you'll be able to emulate more singers because you'll understand why they sound the way they do. If you like voice acting, well, the ultimate party trick, being able to flip the gender switch, is pretty cool to play with there. Um, and as well, I found D&D players really like learning to do this because being able to deliberately, distinctively like craft voices for like different characters and jump between them because you know why they sound that way is just quite a fun skill to have at table.
Amazing. Thank you so much.